And I talk about this in my book too, in terms of how I've dealt with depression in the past, because part of running a business too, you're going to go through moments where you will go into depression because things are just not working out. You're stressed out, you're losing money, you're X, Y, and Z, right? So part of the goal is people like us talking about it, where somebody could see me masculine, I'm in the gym, I'm fit. But like, hey, I go through depression certain times. These are things that don't make you any less strong. If anything, it's suffering, because every human being is suffering. Even from a spiritual philosophy, suffering is a part of life. Yeah. Right. So it's understanding, one, there's nothing wrong with you, us talking about it enough, but also it's nice to talk about it, but there's also tangible things that you could do to find coping mechanisms. Right. And that's where a professional comes into play. Speaking to a therapist, I realized early that, okay, CrossFit is a very potent coping mechanism for me. So I'm not going to remove that from my life. Some people, it could be running. Some people, it could be writing. Some people, it could be spending time with their loved ones. That allows them to come back and center themselves a little bit better. Right. So I think every person has to go on a journey alone to figure out, okay, what leads to moments where there's a chemical imbalance in my system? Because that's what depression really is. It's a chemical imbalance. And what are some of the things that inject those happy feeling chemicals in my system that allows me to not fall under the threshold where I don't feel like doing anything because I am in a depressed state, right? So most people, if they understand that the condition itself, to know that, okay, it's normal for us to dip in and out of depression, right? Which is why clinically, the way they actually measure depression is for how long have you felt a certain way? Because they know most human beings will dip in and out of just not feeling okay. But if it stays around for a very long time, then you need an intervention to kind of at least allow you to be the best version of yourself. Because I think everybody has a best version of themselves when they're okay.
What about like antidepressants? You know, it's like it's a medication that they give a lot of people that go through these things. Yeah. But how effective are they? Like,
so going back to medications, there's no such thing as a pure medication that does only good. Like even somebody who has high blood pressure, there's side effects to it, right? Antidepressants, the way they work, most of the times, they're just increasing those neurochemicals, those chemicals in your brain that allow you to feel uplifted or be in an okay mood. That's all they are doing, right? Serotonin, a lot of people, if you study the history of serotonin, it's a chemical in our body that's a happy chemical. If it's low, we get depressed. If it's high, we're not depressed. So all antidepressants do is allow your body to create and keep as much serotonin as possible to prevent you from being depressed, right? Yeah. So, but at the same time, it has certain side effects, or you have to take it for a certain amount of time before you see the maximum effect of it. But it's not adding something, it's not changing, it's actually tricking your body to produce more happy chemicals. That's all most of these antidepressants do, is just increase happy chemicals that, you know, are naturally existing in us. But some of them do come with side effects, which you should be aware of.
It ends like, for like, I know people who've like lost their life, you know, with with depression and all these things. So it's a serious thing. But how do we get serotonin naturally in our body? Like, what are other ways can we get it?
You know, most of our serotonin is produced in our stomach. Most people don't know that.
It's not in the brain.
Not in the brain needs it, but you make most of your serotonin in your stomach. So what you eat matters so much, which is why there's a direct correlation with bad eating and actually not feeling happy all the time. It's so interesting. Sarah, there's a couple of chemicals that God, if you want to understand how magnificent God is, just study neurochemistry and the different neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, how it helps regulate us, right? So sometimes, like, even having a conversation that is uplifting, your body naturally produces more serotonin. right? Because all your brain is just getting signals to kind of keep certain things, which is why going back to even exercise, endorphins and things of that nature. So it's just, there's a lot of ways that your body produces serotonin, but sense of belonging, identity, what you eat, all those factor into your serotonin levels. Even though some people may be at a disposition also to always have lower serotonin. But neurochemistry is one of the most beautiful aspects of the human body.
Yeah.
And serotonin, most of the times you're producing more serotonin from your stomach. So your gut health, what you put in your system, the type of food that you eat, all of them play a role. Yeah, it matters.